They tell me I'm not a soldier. Not really. I don't carry a rifle into the open. I carry a bayonet with the blade wrapped in cloth so it never catches the light. I don't fight above the ground. I fight underneath it. They call us clay kickers, miners, sewer diggers, men who spent their lives underground before the war ever started. Now the army wants that skill for something else entirely. Digging tunnels beneath no man's land, beneath the enemy trenches themselves. Right now, I'm 80 feet down. The air is thick, and it tastes like wet earth and burnt candle wax. Above me, somewhere, is a war. Down here, there's only silence and the sound of my own breathing. I lie on my back on a wooden cross. They call it the crucifix. My feet against the clay wall, a sharpened spade in my hands. I don't swing it. Swinging makes noise, and noise gets men killed. I push it into the earth with my feet, slow, controlled, silent. A sliver of clay comes away. I pass it back over my shoulder to the bagman behind me. He fills a sandbag and passes it further back down the line. No one speaks. We haven't spoken in hours. Down here, a whisper can travel further than a shout ever could. The enemy is close. I don't know exactly how close, but I know they're there. Somewhere ahead of me, German miners are doing exactly what I'm doing, digging toward us, the same way we're digging toward them. Two tunnels creeping through the dark, aimed at each other like blind men reaching in a black room. Every few minutes, I stop. I press my palm flat against the clay wall. I hold my breath and I listen. At first, there's nothing, just a drip of water somewhere behind me and the faint thud of artillery far above, muffled by 80 feet of French soil. Then I hear it, a scrape, faint, rhythmic, deliberate, metal against clay somewhere off to my left. My whole body goes still. That sound means men. It means the enemy is closer than headquarters thought. I raise a hand and the digging stops instantly behind me. Everyone freezes. We become statues in the dark, listening to another set of hands doing the exact same work we are. The sound moves, it fades, then grows louder again. I try to guess the distance the way the old hands taught me. 10 feet, maybe less, maybe more. Sound plays tricks down here, bouncing through clay and chalk in ways that make men misjudge and die. I think about the men on the other end of that sound. Are they scared, the way I am? Do they lie on their backs too, kicking a spade into the dark, praying they don't break through into someone's rifle? We're not so different, probably. Just men sent underground by other men who will never see this darkness themselves. The digging starts again, slower now, softer. Every scrape of my spade feels like a shout in a quiet room. I imagine the German tunnelers hearing us the same way we hear them, two teams of men circling each other blind, closer with each foot of clay removed. This is the part nobody prepares you for. Not the tight space, not the dark, not even the risk of the roof caving in and burying you alive. It's the waiting, the listening, knowing that any second a spade might break through the wall in front of your face, and you won't know if it's followed by a man with a knife or a satchel of explosives. We reach the point in the tunnel marked on the officer's chart. This is where we stop digging forward and start digging out. A small chamber carved into the side of the tunnel. This is where the mine will go. Ammonal, packed into wooden boxes, stacked high enough to bury a section of enemy trench in an instant. We work in near total silence now, because we're close enough to hear individual words from the other side, muffled German, half swallowed by the clay between us. I don't understand what they're saying. I don't need to. The tone is enough. Someone over there is nervous too. The bagman hands me the last box of explosive, and I set it in place beside the others. My hands are shaking, though I tell myself it's just the cold. Down here, it's always cold, even in summer. The clay holds no warmth, no matter how close the men working it become.
I run the detonator wire back along the tunnel floor, taping it to the wall every few feet so it doesn't snag. Behind me, the other men start their slow retreat, backing out the way we came, careful not to disturb the packed charge. I'm the last one in the chamber. For a moment, it's just me and the wall, and whatever waits on the other side of it. I press my palm against the clay one more time. The scraping has stopped. Silence. Complete, total silence, the kind that presses on your eardrums like water. Have they finished their own tunnel? Are they packing their own charge right now on the other side of this wall, close enough that I could reach through if the clay would let me? I don't wait to find out. I back out of the chamber, coiling the last of the wire as I go, moving faster now, though still without a sound. Every step back toward the entrance feels longer than the one before it. My lamp flickers, and for one terrible second, I think it's going to die completely. It doesn't. It steadies, and I keep moving. Somewhere above me, the war is still going on, shells falling, men dying in the open air under a sky I haven't seen in 3 days. Down here, none of that matters. Down here, there was only the tunnel and the charge behind me, and the question of whether we finished before they did. I climbed the ladder out of the shaft, back toward the trench, back toward daylight I haven't felt in days. My legs are unsteady, and my hands won't stop shaking, though the cold excuse doesn't work anymore. When I finally reach the top, the light hits my eyes like a slap, and I have to shield them, blinking against the sky I'd almost forgotten was still there. Around me, the attack is already beginning, men moving forward through the gap the mine tore open, shouting, running, the noise of the open war rushing back in all at once. I sit down on the trench floor, back against the wall, and I close my eyes for just a moment. Down there, it was quiet. Up here, it never stops. I know I'll be back down that shaft again soon, back into the dark, back to the listening and the waiting and the silence that says more than any shout ever could. For now, I just breathe the open air and try to remember what it feels like to not be afraid of a sound. 3 days later, they send us back down. A new section of line, a new chart, a new stretch of clay waiting to be carved open. I don't ask if the last hole is still smoking. Some things are better left unasked. The new tunnel starts the way they all start. A shaft sunk straight down from a trench floor, timbered as we go, boards nailed up against the walls to keep the earth from swallowing us before the enemy ever gets the chance. I climb down first, the way I always do now. Seniority, they call it. Survival is what it actually is. The men behind me are new, faces I don't recognize yet. Boys, really, pulled from coal pits in Wales and sewers in London because someone in an office decided their hands were useful. I try not to learn their names too quickly. It's easier that way, though it never actually works. By the second day, I know all 4 of them. Know which one talks too much when he's nervous. Know which one goes quiet and pale before every listening watch. His name is Thomas, and he reminds me of my younger brother, the one who joined the infantry instead, the one whose letters have started arriving less and less often. I don't say that to him. I just make sure he's never the one lying on the crucifix during the worst stretches, never the one closest to the enemy line when the sounds start. Some kindnesses down here can't be spoken, only arranged. We dig for 6 days without incident, clay giving way to chalk, chalk giving way to clay again, the tunnel bending slightly to follow a seam that's easier to cut. On the 7th day, Thomas freezes mid-stroke, spade half buried in the wall, and raises his hand the way I taught him. Everyone stops. I crawl forward past the others, press my own palm to the clay beside his spade, and listen. There it is, faint but unmistakable, the same rhythmic scrape I've heard a dozen times before, closer than the charts predicted, closer than anyone above ground could have known. I look at Thomas, and for a moment I see the fear plain on his face, the same fear I carried the first time, before I learned to fold it up small enough to keep working around it. I don't tell him it gets easier. It doesn't, really. You just get better at carrying it. I put my hand on his shoulder once and nod toward the spade still buried in the clay. He nods back and starts digging again, slower now, softer, the way I taught him, the way someone taught me, back before I'd ever heard a German voice through 8 feet of French soil. That's the part they never write home about, not just the danger, but the teaching, the passing down of small, quiet skills from one frightened man to the next, so that maybe, if we're careful enough, a few more of us climb back up that ladder when it's over. I don't know if we'll win this race, the one against the men on the other side of the clay. I don't know if Thomas will still be beside me a month from now, or if I'll be the one training someone else to take his place. All I know is the sound, the scrape of metal on earth, the rhythm of it, closer now.